What's up, people? It's Malort here. Want to come to everyone with a special episode today. Now, normally I don't film these and then post them right away. I maybe sometimes do a little editing, make sure my facts are correct on whatever alcohol or liquor I'm reviewing for the week or for the day or whatever I'm doing. But today's a special episode because about 15 minutes ago, the Chicago Bears just beat the Green Bay Packers in the wild card round to advance to the divisional round of the playoffs. And I think we all know now the Bears are for real. Caleb Williams is for real, and I could not be more excited. So I'm coming to you with this special episode. If this hat looks a little beat up and worn, it's because I wore this for every game this year. I wore this for every game of the last time the Bears had that magical season where they went to the Super Bowl and unfortunately lost. So I'm wearing it here again today. Go Bears, bear down. So today I've got a special thing for you. As I've always said, this page is Malort Gin. Gin is always going to be king. I'm always going to do those first. I have had some issues finding a good American gin that I haven't tried at my store yet, so there's going to be a search. I'm going to find something, but until I can find something, I need to do some other things. Now, I have some Scotch episodes coming. I do like some Scotch, and we'll be reviewing some of that stuff. But for today, we're going with Chicago's very own Jeppson's Malort. So I don't expect a lot of people watching this page to know what Malort is. So a little bit of history. Malort is a Swedish, I guess they call it bitter slash liqueur. It's technically a schnapps. It came over from Sweden from a guy named Carl Jeppson, so that the name is from the person who brought it over to Chicago. This is a Chicago staple, though. If you go to any bar in Chicago, I'm sure you can find it. It's a thing. People from Chicago know it. People outside Chicago are starting to get used to it. You know, obviously I'm not in the Chicago area and I'm able to buy it on a regular basis, which is fantastic because now I don't have to ship it in anymore. But I always have a bottle on hand. This stuff is one of my favorites. Now, let's talk about it. Elephant in the room. This is the most bitter, awful tasting alcohol you'll ever have. I've acquired a taste for it. I love it. This stuff is my go-to. A lot of people from Chicago love it, but even Malort themselves, the company, their marketing revolves around the fact that this tastes awful and that nobody likes it, and they use that to their advantage when they're marketing. So this is actually, you know, if I talk bad about this at all at any point, I'm just kind of going along with their marketing. I'm not actually ragging on this thing. This stuff is great. I recommend everybody try it. Give it to some of your friends without telling them, and their face will be epic. So a little backstory. So Carl Jeppson brought this over. He came over in about the 1920s, late 1920s, early 1930s to Chicago from Sweden. He came over, and right when he got here, Prohibition was a thing. So he decided to make himself this, which he billed this as kind of a bitter slash medicinal, something that could take the parasites out of your stomach and cleanse you. And you know, this is one of those, like, you know, there's no medicinal purpose to this whatsoever, but it was billed as that, and it tastes so bitter. It's made from wormwood, so it's got that like bitter, woody flavor to it. It's very dry, very bitter. But the funny part about this is actually during Prohibition, when he was making this, at one point he was facing a federal, I don't know if it was prosecution, but federal investigations regarding, like, you're not supposed to be making alcohol, so what is this? And federal law enforcement actually decided not to do anything to Carl Jeppson and his company and this product, primarily because they said nobody will be drinking this recreationally. It's so bad that it's not going to be in a bar somewhere where you can just mix it with a cocktail. It tastes so bad that unless you're taking this for medicinal purposes, it's not going to be something that people buy. Well, once again, the feds were wrong on that one. So the flavor of this, obviously with it being bitter and wormwood, you know, one of the jokes I always say is it tastes like pencil shavings and bad ideas, because this stuff will get you messed up. The only good way to take this is a shot. If you're drinking this on the rocks, then more power to you. I want to meet you because you're an awesome person, but I can't do it. That's not the way I do it. I'm not going to mix this in a drink. I don't know how you would make this flavor work with anything that would make it decent. I take shots of this. That's the only proper way to do it in my eyes. There's also something called the Chicago handshake, where you take a shot of Malort and then Miller Lite, and kind of like your way of introducing yourself to someone. So it's become a big staple. I first tried it in Chicago when I was back there for one semester in college, visiting some friends that I grew up with. So pencil shavings and bad ideas, that's not really a good description. I always say grapefruit. So anyone who tries this, you're going to be immediately hit with that like bitter flavor that you're just like, oh, this is awful. It tastes like turpentine but there is some citrus in there. There's some citrus peel. It does taste kind of like the peel portion. It's not like, you're not going to taste like an orange in this, but you're going to taste like that bitter peel to it, and maybe like just a zest of it. And I always say grapefruit is the way to go. You know, when you're drinking this, if you think grapefruit, it's actually not going to taste as bad as most people say. So, I mean, I recommend everybody try this if you can find it at your local store. This is a real gem. It's a real fun shot drink to have around. I used to take this with me in college and give it out to people at parties when they say, okay, you owe me a shot. I'm like, sure, here's one from Malort. Just watch their face when they take it. So unlike a lot of the other things I do on this page, I sometimes drink these to get the flavor profile so I can kind of give you a better review when I do these videos, but I'm so familiar with Malort, I don't need to. This is a new bottle, I just opened it for your benefit. So I guess I haven't smelled it in a while, so let's give it a good smell. Yeah, it smells almost like a chemical. And I'm not, once again, I'm not saying that in a bad way. Not saying that to degrade it or any way, but I think the people at Malort will take kindly to that. And funny thing is, actually, the people at Malort, I reached out to them a long time ago and said, hey, I was trying to climb a mountain out in Colorado. I was going to do a 14er just to see if I could. I'm not in great shape, but I wanted to see if I could do the hike and the climb of a easy 14er to the top. And I contacted Malort. I just reached out to the marketing team and I said, hey, I'm going to do this. When I get to the top, I'm going to take a shot of Malort. And they said, okay, well, if I were to do that, they said I would actually be invited to do a private tour of the Malort distillery in Chicago. And they said that's not something that's open to the public, but if I make it, I can do it. Well, long story short, I didn't make it. The elevation got to me, but I reached out to them. I said, hey guys, I posted on social media. I said, I took a couple swigs of this from a flask at 13,000 feet on the side of Quandary Peak in outside Breckenridge, Colorado, and they sent me a whole box of all this swag, all these stickers, these keychains, these magnets, and they're pretty awesome. You know, these people are great. I don't suggest everyone reach out to them and try to get free stuff, but their marketing team is top notch there, and I highly recommend them. So, I mean, I also recommend, like, if you want to go on their website or look up they have a YouTube and a Facebook page. Go up and look at some of their marketing videos. They have some really funny stuff where they make fun of the fact that this stuff tastes out of this world bad to a lot of people. I mean, it's part of what they are. They don't try to fight it. They don't try and pretend like it's good. They just make it a big joke so that people buy a bottle to try it out. And you know, there are a lot of people in Chicago who love this stuff, and I keep buying it. So it's not deterring anyone by them being on it. But without further ado, usually I say just one glass, but this is going to be just one shot. This is for all the Bears fans out there. That's 2 wins over the Packers this year, and we knocked them out of the playoffs. They get to go home and watch us trying to move on to the playoffs. So bear down. Here goes nothing. Oh yeah, that's always as I imagine it. It's still pretty smooth when it first goes down, but then it hits you with that bitter all the way across your tongue. It starts in the front, goes all the way to the back. It's bitter, it's dry, it tastes, it doesn't taste chemical. I know I said it smelled kind of chemical, but you know, I've given this to people before. You know, they refer to it as turpentine flavored pencil shavings. You know, it's definitely one of the more unique things I've ever seen. Now I will say Malort is doing a lot to they're doing a lot to try and kind of improve themselves. Like, they have a barrel aged one now, which I actually tried, and I'm not a big bourbon fan, but it did have kind of a bourbon kick with the Malort flavor behind it, and like, more power to them. That was some pretty genius stuff. But that's all I have for you today. I will be coming at you with some more gins and scotches in the future, but I want to post this one right now and give a shout out to Bears fans and let them know, like, hey, we're behind you. Go try a bottle of Malort. You're going to love it. It's one of my favorites. I lugged it up to 13,000 feet and took swigs on top of the mountain. So I suggest everyone else do the same. All right. Thank you, everyone. See you later.